What's up, everybody? Welcome. We are here. We made it happen, and we're gonna try to figure out what the hell we're gonna do here today. This is me streaming on Twitch, and I'm gonna play a video game. Wow, crazy! Of course, I'm gonna be playing a 30-year-old video game, so you know there's some there's a little bit of an element there. But just want to say welcome, hello, everybody. I don't know how or if this is going to be a success or not. We are going to try this process of me playing some games and see if we get some people to watch. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Not really trying to do this to make some money, but you know, realize that every time I stream, if I'm doing, you know, a stream like this, I could be streaming and talking about, well, like Daggerheart or Draw Steel or something, and making more money. So, well, hopefully this will be fun. Hold on a sec. I'm supposed to have. Ah, damn it! You guys are already calling me out on my bullshit. SE Twitch. Yeah, there we go. Hey. They're totally the generic ones, but thanks, Jacob Online, for the 6-month resub. And I think there were some other people, too, who got in on that action. Thank you, TAS Agent. Thank you, Jackal Torn Moons. Thank you, Pawn No Longer, for the Prime subs. Again, hey, look at this. Now everybody can sub, and it's free. So, yeah, so we're going to be playing, well, we're going to be doing a couple of things. Number one, we're going to be playing Final Fantasy 1. If this is fun and we're having a good time with this, then we'll keep it up. If not, you know, it was a fun little experiment, and I, you know, spent $9 or whatever on a game that I've bought for the 50th time. But unlike most video game streams, obviously we're gonna be talking about TTRPGs here. I think, you know, there's the games like this were a big influence on me, and I would be lying if I said otherwise. And of course, obviously, there's differences between a tabletop role-playing game and a TTRPG, but at the same time, I think we could find some commonalities. But also, again, I want to really make sure that we are taking the opportunity to talk to one another. And you know, here I'm going to calm down the music a little bit there, and just, you know, figure out what we want to do. So first things first, you all have to help me. Okay, you have to help me. See, I'm not one of these streamers, so I don't have a I don't know what we're supposed to be doing here. So you guys are going to have to help me out, okay? So for starters, let me hop over here. Hold on a sec here. Duplicates. Okay, there we go. All right. So for starters, what I want to know is, how do we want this to even look? Like, what works for you all? So first things first, let's get the game in, as big as it is. All right, so first question, and again, this is all of you here in chat. Okay, apparently I picked display capture. What is going on here? There we go. Okay, perfect. The first thing is, how do we want to do the game? So do we want the game to be, you know, big and take up the whole screen, or do we want it to be, you know, over here? Okay. So that's the first question. All right. That's the first question that we have to ask and get information for. Okay. So we've got some people saying they want it small. We have some people saying they want it big. Now, I already saw the other question. We'll work through these. Okay. Next question is, do we want me down here, or do we want to green screen this thing here? Okay. And lastly, do we want to go with this camera angle? Okay. Or do we want to go with where's she at? There she is. Or do we want to go with this camera angle? All right. So we got a couple different camera angles here now that we can play with. I'm trying to get this situated here. There we go. So we have sort of more of the, you can actually see me, with my controller and all that other stuff. But I'm seeing green screen, so I guess we're going to go with the green screen. All right, so we're seeing a bunch of other stuff here. All right. By the way, I shout out to, this is actually, my gaming thing is all the way at the top of my stack. So let me move it down here. So game full screen, no cam, and muted mic. All right, that I appreciate that. Pixel Remaster, what is blasphemy? Okay, so yeah, before we get too deep into the mix, a little bit of a background. I have played this game probably more the time. Well, maybe Super Mario World is probably the game I've played more than anyone. I obviously started playing this game predominantly and principally on the Nintendo Entertainment System, and we could talk about that. And there have been multiple versions that have come out. There was one that came out for PlayStation 1 called Final Fantasy Origins. There was one that came out for the Game Boy Advance called Final Fantasy Dawn of Souls. And some of those Final Fantasies made some changes to the game that I thought were very lame. Predominantly, and most importantly, using MP instead of spell slots, which this traditionally did. Now, the Pixel Remaster, which came out a couple years ago, does use spell slots. Now, it changed some other things, but including fixing some of the bugs. We can go into this, but Final Fantasy 1 had a lot of bugs. And ultimately, I really wanted to have more of an authentic experience. So people were like, oh, well, there are emulators of the original game, which is great. And I've played the original game a lot, but I kind of wanted to play a game that they actually had fixed the bugs. And they're like, no, it's great. People have made emulators and they've hacked the code and fixed the bugs. Here's the problem. I could just click this on Steam and download it, and I needed the path of least resistance. And I didn't feel like hunting down an emulator and then a ROM and all this other stuff. So this is what we got. That is the long and the short of it. I just wanted something that I knew was going to work, that I wasn't going to have to chase around and try to find and bring down. Thank you, by the way, Jams, for the tier 1 sub, the tier 1 subby, as they say. All right, so let's get some polls going here. Now, again, some of this stuff isn't fully set up yet. Actually, let me see here. I got SE alerts there. Do I need to bring in my Twitch alerts? I should have given them a better name. I don't know why didn't I call that alerts? Rename Twitch alert. Okay, that should pop up now. And also, we want the SE Twitch goal. There she is. Okay. We're making moves. We're getting there. Okay, put that right. Oh, there. Okay. Right. Get this the hell out of there. Cool. And now we're going to do some polls. How about, by the way, how is everybody doing? It feels weird not to be like about to talk about RPGs for, for the next however long. Game size. Retro. Type. Multiple choice. Okay. Reset poll, and poll should be up. All right. So first, vote for game size. Do we want the full screen or do we want the partial screen? Your vote now. It's tied. I wonder how many people we actually have rocking this right now. Let me see. Let me bring up my thing. Look at that. We got 30 viewers. I'm a Twitch streamer. Wow. Uh-oh, full screen's pulling ahead. So we'll give it some votes, some time here. So it looks like full screen is winning. So too far down. There we go. It's close though. All right, but it's going to be 2/3, so I think we're going to go with that. And then damn you, democracy. Green screen gets me Twitch cred. All right, so we'll say this. All right, we're resetting the poll. It's a new poll. It's a new poll. Derek's camera, green screen, or no green screen. TS Agent says the people don't know what are good for them. I agree. Correct. That is correct, Profound Dark. The downside with the full screen is the chat box will cover all the important PC info, like, my whole thing here. All right, green screen it is. All right, well, let me kill this, and let me go here, and activate chroma key, and there we go. All right. What do we think? Okay, that's 100%. Geesh. What do we think about the size? Now you might say, Derek, this is crazy. I don't know anything about gaming on, I don't know anything about, I don't watch people play video games, even on Twitch. So I have no idea if this is good, if this is bad. Okay, people are saying this is good. Okay. All right, everyone's saying this is good. All right, now, next. Game sounds / music. Mute all. Mute sounds. Mute music. Hear all. All right. So game sounds. And do we want to mute them all? Do we want to mute the sounds and leave the music? Do we want to mute the music and leave the sounds? Or do we want to hear everything? We'll just keep it low, super low volume. Or do we want to keep it, things? Again, I don't know what people actually do here. Thank you for the follow, Winter Lance. Look at that. See, it worked. Let me see if I can change this chat a little bit. Chat. What do I got here on filters? Nothing for filters. I'm good at properties. I'm using a transparent background. That's why. All right. All right. Poll. Gotta close the poll. Okay. Push any button. All right. Now, I'm going up and down through the menu. Is that loud enough? I mean, compared to my, obviously compared to my voice. Of course. All right. So, all right, sounds good so far. Perfect. Okay, great. And then obviously we have to get into the game itself proper to really figure out where these things need to go. I can actually turn off this because we won't really need those. Okay. By the way, you could still tip with Stream Elements tip. I should try to figure out a way to put the tip link in there, but I'll try to figure that out eventually, but I'm not too worried about it. So let's see what we have here. Options, configuration. Oh, okay. Actually, I just realized I'm playing off of my OBS. It'd help if I was actually playing off of the game. Okay. Full screen dark. How do I full screen a game in that just the biggest it is? What's going on here? Okay, I guess this is it. All right. So we have font style modernized or classic. How can I see the difference? Oh, we got to go with the classics. Okay. Classic thing. And then background music. Oh, we got the original music? All right, we're going with the original music. Sorry, Pixel Remaster. We're going with the original music. All right, all right. This should be fine. Yeah, we'll go a little brighter so I can see everything. All right. Oh, that doesn't really give us a lot of options, but there we go. Okay. I don't care about the privacy license extras. Music player, gallery. All right, nothing there. All right, well, new game it is. For those of you who have never played Final Fantasy before, of course, there are 6 classes. There is the fighter. Now, I will say, hey, read the read the privacy policy, says DAS agent. Okay. It opens up in a web box. Sorry, it's not actually in the game. Lame. We tried. There you go. there's the privacy notice. Listen, you voted for it. Okay. So there are 6 classes. Now, there's going to be something that's going to happen a lot when I'm playing this game, which is I'm going to refer to things frequently by their old names. So, for example, I will almost certainly be calling the warrior fighter all the time because that was what its actual name was. And, of course, they've updated them and changed them throughout the years. But we did have some Patreons who tipped or who used their tickets, which they get from Patreon, in order to select 2 things. So we already actually have 2 character classes already locked in, and that is the white mage, and that is going to be the black mage. So we are going to have a black mage named Hoyrit, and then we are going to have a white mage named Amblade. All right, so we have Hoyrit the black mage, and we have Amblade the white mage, because they did get rid of the 4-character limit. Now, a little bit of a side tangent here. So in the original Final Fantasy game, which of course I played a ton growing up, there's a couple things to realize or to know, which is that the game itself was fundamentally flawed because a lot of stats didn't work. So one of the most important stats, and I'm very excited to try this out because I have played some of the the Game Boy Advance version, the PlayStation version, which did fix this, but those systems were all MP systems. You get spells cost magic points. But in this version of the game, which is like the original version of the game, you have spell slots. It's a Vancian spell system. So one of the classic character class, what I consider to be one of the most powerful classes from the original game, is called the Red Mage. And the Red Mage is truly a jack of all trades. They can cast white magic and black magic, and they actually can wield a fair number of weapons and swords. But in the original game, there is a stat called int, or intellect, or intelligence. And intelligence is supposed to buff the amount of damage that you deal with your magic spells and the amount that you heal with your healing spells. And the white mage and the black mage get significant increases to their intelligence score, whereas the red mage doesn't, or at least it lags behind. But that stat was broken in the original game, which meant that the red mage's spells and heals were just as strong and just as powerful as the black mage's spells and the white mage's spells. So the red mage didn't necessarily get nerfed, but it's like when they fixed the buffs, they made the other classes better, and they didn't really buff the red mage. So from that perspective, the red mage kind of got worse, even though it is still one of my favorite classes of all time. Similarly, the thief was very notably completely bugged and didn't really work at all in the original game. Their key stat which is like agility and luck, were both bugged, and they didn't really do what they were supposed to do. Agility is supposed to really make you accurate, and it is supposed to be able to make it so that you have a high evade, which means in theory the thief should hit a lot, which means they should be doing a lot of multiple attacks, and when attacks do land in their slot, they should miss more often. But the thief didn't get the proper agility scaling, and so it didn't really work. And the other class is the warrior and what was called the black belt in the original game, and the monk. Now, these, to my knowledge, pretty much have always worked. Arguably, these are two of the strongest classes from the original game. The warrior, or the fighter, is considered to be pretty much God mode. The monk, by the way, is special because every class will eventually go through a transformation, basically a prestige class, if you will, from 3rd edition, and pick up a new class. And the warrior, the fighter, actually becomes a paladin and gets white magic, and the thief becomes a ninja and gets black magic. The monk becomes a master and never gets any magic. So, you know, they're kind of low on that. So we have a black mage and we have a white mage. That's priced in from our folks over in the Discord. They voted for this to be. Yes, the OP classes were the ones that functioned correctly. That is correct. In fact, one of my favorite original favorite classes, or one of my favorite original comps, was what I called Big Red. And it was just 2 fighters and 2 red mages. You could also go 3 fighters and 3 red mages. I mean, this basically just completely destroyed the first 2/3 of the game without any problems whatsoever. And then, you know, by the time you get to the end game, the fighters, the warriors are so strong, it doesn't really, you know, completely matter. But anyways, there's a lot of different ways that you could build your character classes. You could go low magic, you could go high magic. So there's a lot of different fun ways to replay this game and kind of get to enjoy this as well. Yes, monk, the warrior, or the black belt, is indeed, if you get them to high enough level, they are the best damage dealer. Yeah, we can go the all white mage run, you know, of course, which is legendary. So we need to decide what our front line is going to be. And guess what? Since no one in the Patreon paid tickets, I guess we're just going to leave it to, you guessed it, a vote. So let me get our poll up. All right, so who should be our slot 1 tank? Now realize, by the way this game works is whichever character is in the first position, 50%, 50, half of all the attacks will target that character. The second slot will be targeted 25% of the time, and slots 3 and 4 will be targeted 12.5% of the time. So that means that when we put somebody into that position, they need to be able to take some hits. Now, warrior is, of course, the classic, or the fighter, if you will. But you know, and also, I'm a big fan of the warrior. They can use every armor in the game. They can use almost every armor and almost every weapon in the game. Pretty much, there's like a handful of exceptions. They get really high. They get good magic resist, actually. The only problem, if you will, with the warrior is that wearing all the heavy armor really makes their evade shit. And their accuracy, while high, will never be as high as, say, the thief's or the black belt, the monk. But they do so much damage when they hit, it doesn't matter. And while their evade tends to be very low because they wear very heavy armor, their absorb, which is the ability for their armor to absorb damage, is so high that a lot of times when they get hit, and they will get hit, it does 1 damage, which is like the minimum amount of damage that can be dealt. So, show the number of votes. Oh, I can show the number of votes. Okay, I wanted to do that. There we go. So apparently we have 4 people watching. Cool. Love to see it. Or they're just all bots. I'm not sure. Well, you know what? Warrior it is. Okay. I'm not going to mince words with a warrior. All right. So this one is important. This one's going to be a big deal, which is going to be who is going to be our slot 2. I'm going to call them our DPS. Okay. Ooh, all right. Now, this could be anything. As far as I'm concerned, this could be anything. We could go with a red mage if we want to have a super... Now, by the way, spells are expensive. There are some advantages. The monk, for example, doesn't really need weapons or armor. In fact, as you get later in the game, it's almost optimal to not have them to have anything. But spells are expensive. So if you go with a red mage and a white mage and a whatever mage, you're going to be having a lot of issues. Now, wait, I didn't have to remind you. Hamblade is a white mage and Hoyrit is a black mage. That is already locked in. So this is our party. We have a warrior, we have a white mage, and we have a black mage. Now we kind of need a slot 2. This is our flex slot, right? We've got a great tank up front. We've got a great spellcaster in the back. DPS, black mage. We have a great healer support character in the white mage. Now, what do we want to do with this flex slot? Warrior is absolutely boss. It'll give us the ability to equip a ton of cool swords throughout the game. They do a lot of damage. And remember, that second slot gets hit 25% of the time. Red mage is going to give us extra capability to cast more spells, which is going to give us a lot of flexibility. And as they become the red, and eventually in the end game, we can even give them mass immune in the final stages of the game. And that could be a lot of fun too. Now, Thief, don't sleep on Thief. And I know, because some of you may not be Final Fantasy nerds like I do. The Thief becomes the ninja. The ninja gets access to Temper and Haste. Okay? Temper was broken in the original NES game, but they fixed it in later games. Temper is an attack buff. Haste is the most broken spell in the game. It doubles the ability for a character to attack. So normally a character like our warrior maxes out at like 6 or 8 attacks. Well, with haste on them, they can do things like 12 attacks, 12 hits, 16 hits, 14 hits, 16 hits, and do a unbelievable amount of damage. We are limited in how many haste spells we can cast because this is not an MP system. Our black mage is our only caster for haste. Once they run out of those slots, that's it. That also means we can only put out 1 haste per round because the black mage is the only one capable of hasting. So a thief as a ninja later in the game gives us extra haste capability. And the monk is just pure unadulterated DPS. So it looks like monk is going to win. So now we need some names. So, you know, in pouring one out for my KLLC brothers, we are going to have Smith the Warrior, and looks like we are going to have Bob the Monk. So that is going to be our party. Profound Dark says, I think I often do fighter, thief, monk, red, white mage. I have trouble choosing between the thief and the monk. That's fair. All right. We're good. Here we go. Confirm. How do I confirm? There we go. Done. The world lies shrouded in darkness. Ooh, that's another poll. Do you want me to read the dialogue? Or do you want to just read it like, you know, a normal person? By the way, I'm going to assume that this intro is going to be less than a minute long, and, you know. Oh, James Scott says, I know how to read. I went with Bob as the monk because the monk becomes the master and he becomes all jacked and huge, and I figured that was like very Bob-like. And Smith feels very much more like a knight to me, you know, becoming the sort of paladin type character. Smith likes to play a good paladin here and there. By the way, this is all you need for a fantastic campaign. All right, right? This is classic Points of Light. The world is in trouble. right? The darkness is veiling the world. The players, the Warriors of Light, are our main heroes, and there we go. And after a while, the 4 travelers appeared at last. How convenient. And there we go. These used to be orbs in the original game. They changed them into crystals to, you know, fit the IP better. All right. And that's it. All right, so A is confirm, B is back. Oh, I can run. Okay, this game has run. Okay. We can move. Auto battle. I don't even know what that is. Page up, page down. Triggers. Oh, yeah, right. These things. Mini map off. On. Default speed. I can turn the encounters off? That's fucked up. All right, we won't be doing that. Okay. All right. Get out of this. All right. I am stuck. All right. Well, this is why Derek doesn't play video games. Okay. Apparently I needed my keyboard. All right. Now, this is the world map. Unfortunately, in the original game, you actually had to know the secret to bring up the world map, but it wasn't ever really a massive secret. But here we are. Here we are at the beginning of the game, and we've got the town here. And here are our characters. So we can see here that our black mage Hoyrit has 2 level 1 spell slots. Hambalede has 2 level 1 spell slots, and we don't have anything for these guys. And so here are our stats. I'm actually really fascinated by the Final Fantasy system. A lot of your character's progression is based off of your stats, and some of your stats will go up automatically every level, depending on what your class is, and then the other stats have a random chance to go up. So you can get really lucky, or you can get, you know, hosed. So, for example, you know, you can see here that at the beginning of the game, we need to get, you know, some things equipped. But our Bob Monk is stronger than Smith the Warrior. But we'll see how this all pans out. Smith rocking 35 hit points, Bob 33, Amblade 33, and the Black Mage Hoyrit 25. So first, we got to go into the castle. Now, in the original game, this was called Castle Cornelia. Now they've changed it to Cornelia. Searching for the prophecies, warriors of light. Could you be them? Now, also, we could play this game as if I'd never played it before, and we could actually go to the places, or we could just, you know, go straight to whatever we need to do. My goal, by the way, today is to get to Elftown. So that is what we're going to play for tonight. We do have the crystals, your king. Now, see, this could be a negotiation scene in Draw Steel. Will we rescue their daughter, Sarah? We have no choice. Now, actually, this original setup, obviously, it's a little simplified, of course, is that we've got a former knight in the employ of the king, Garland, who has kidnapped the Princess Sarah and taken refuge in the Chaos Shrine, which lies to the north. Okay? And they tried to do it, but he's the finest swordsman in the kingdom. And, you know, so evil has corrupted this knight and things. Now, similarly, we are currently stuck on this continent or this little island because to go north, they have to rebuild the bridge. So the bridge leading north was lost long ago, making passage impossible. If you can rescue Sarah, I will have the bridge rebuilt as a token of my gratitude. So obviously it's very linear and it's very much a railroad. However, fundamentally, if we look at the original concept of D&D, there's really, oh, look at that, we can run. If we look at the original idea of D&D, we've got here this, way to zoom in? We've got this starting area here We have a town, a keep. One might say a keep on the borderlands. It's a point of light. It's surrounded by various encounter terrain types, monsters that are appropriate to us, and a short distance away, not a crazy distance away, but a short distance away over a brief overland journey, there is a dungeon, which in this case is the Shrine of Chaos. Now, in the context of this game, the Shrine of Chaos is not really a dungeon. It's just like one big floor, but you could imagine replacing the Shrine of Chaos with a maybe 2-level or 3-level basic dungeon, maybe even let's call it a 2-level dungeon. And this would basically be the setup for a basic game. This is basically B2, Keep on the Borderlands. A small town, a keep, some overland travel, but not like hex crawling overland, some random encounters, one dungeon. And, this is how people would start their D&D campaigns. You'd have a starting town, a starting area, a quest hook, and a dungeon. And that was it. That's all you needed to start the game. And then obviously, once you get through that initial factor phase of basic, you move into the proper area of the game and you have to start, figuring out where we're going. All right. Let us figure out here what we want to do. Because I want to try to change. I guess we got to get in a fight first. All right, we got to get some weapons for our people. Welcome. All right. So we can get a rapier for our fighter. And now we have 500 gil. This is a whopping 8. So we can see that the rapier will give him 9 extra attack and 5 extra accuracy. So we'll buy one of those. And then give our white mage a hammer. We'll keep the black mage with the staff. Now, at the beginning of the game, the black belt actually is a little bit better off with a nunchaku, I think. So we will do that. So if we go here, so we can see that his accuracy goes down a little bit, but his attack is how much damage he does. And then here is our thing. So if we remove this, okay, remove. All right, how do I? There we go. So right now he's at 13. Now, as he gets higher level, he will eventually not need weapons. But for right now, he can use a nunchuck at the very beginning of the game because he's still low level. So we'll give him that. Yes, so that's what I thought. We should remove his clothes. Because, again, it's kind of hard to see because of chat. We'll figure out where chat needs to go. But putting on clothes lowers his defense and lowers his evasion. So no clothes for the monk. Please be naked. All right. All right. And then got to go into the armor store. And again, we want to get chainmail for our boy here. Now, the leather armor won't actually help him because while the defense is higher, you see that weight stat? That weight stat is what screws over our monk. So we actually don't want him to have anything with weight, which is why we don't want him with any armor. So this thing's kind of lying to us a little bit because even though it looks like it would help him, it actually won't. Meanwhile, that weight is going to make our evasion drop pretty significantly. So you can see here that our defense goes up from 1 to 15. Let me change this a little bit. I'm gonna just adjust this. Corner, add a color source. Isn't this thrilling? We'll work with that for right now. Yeah, so you could have an evade tank. Yes, if you had a really high evasion, which in theory is what the thief is supposed to do, or the ninja. And I'd actually like to try it out one day to do that. Anyways, we're gonna give our boy there that. All right, and then let's go get a spell. Now, I've played this game enough times. You could pretty much just race right in and fight Garland. But we're just going to get the cure spell. So we have 4 spells. Now, you can only learn 3 of them. So as you go through the game, you can only eventually get 3 of the 4. So cure is a single target hit point recovery spell. Dia, which used to be called harm, is an AoE undead harming spell. Protect raises an ally's defense. Defense is not evade. Defense is the ability for your armor to absorb damage. So even from a very early age, I played Final Fantasy before I played D&D, and I was like, oh, armor makes you easier to hit and absorbs damage. So when I started playing D&D, I was like, what the fuck is armor class? And then Blink, unfortunately, only targets our caster. So it's a self-target buff. It raises their evasion, making it harder to hit them. However, our white mage, Amblade, is in our 3rd slot. They're only going to be targeted 12.5% of the time, so there's really not a reason to take this. So I'm going to pick up Cure, and I'm going to pick up Dia, and we'll sleep on Protect for right now. We can always come back and get it later. And then for our black mage, these are single target damage spells. We've got Fire and Thunder. Okay, so we want a Fire spell because we want to be able to do some direct damage. Now, Focus is a debuff that lowers a enemy's evasion, making it more likely that not only will it make it more likely that we'll hit them, it'll make it more likely that we'll do multiple attacks to them. And then Sleep is technically an AoE that puts all the enemies to sleep, but it's actually really not that good. They tend to wake up really quick and they kind of just attack you immediately. It's not actually that great of a spell. Now, this is the person who gave us the prophecy. Sage Lucan said, found something about finding the crescent moon. Then he just up and left town. This game doesn't actually tell you where to go at all. You actually have to talk to all these different random NPCs. Some of them tell you just, random nonsense like, oh, please, you must rescue the princess. But then randomly, later in the game, when you're trying to figure out where Sage Lucan is, he makes this obscure remark about the crescent moon, and you're supposed to put that together that the lake town that looks like a crescent move, is where we have to go. So let's get out there and let's do some grinding. Now, again, I could go straight to the temple and fight, but we'll fight. We'll level up. We'll play a little bit here and see what's going on. Now, another thing that you may see me occasionally do is in the original game. If a monster died, and you targeted it, your attack would still target that empty space, and it would say your attack was ineffective. So part of the strategy of it, now, as I understand it, it was a bug or they just didn't have the ability to include that feature set. So as you may see me occasionally like attack a monster, and then like with my monk, I might attack the one below it. And the reason I might do that is because I'm used to just spreading out my damage because I don't want my people to all just attack the same person, unfortunately. Another interesting thing is, originally in early versions of D&D, the way that it worked is you declared what you were going to do for the round first. Everybody went around the table and said what they were going to do this round. The fighter would say, I'm going to charge forward and start hacking at the orcs. And then the black belt or the monk would say, I'm going to spin over to the side and try to get around to the spellcaster. And the black mage would say, I'm going to cast a fireball. Then you rolled initiative. Okay? Then you rolled initiative to see, which order things would go down in. And again, you see this here in Final Fantasy where I'm going to be putting in my attacks and they are going to, proceed in a random order that is decided by their agility. So it's not strictly that we're going to attack in a certain order every time. It's going to change from time to time. Now you could see there that because, unfortunately, one of the downsides of the modern version is that they fixed that bug, and you know, everybody can just attack the same person. So you could see there so the fact that she got attacked twice in a row is like a 1 in 16 chance. But you can see that when like the Bob and Smith are taking hits, they're only taking 1 point of damage because the amount of damage being dealt by the imps is so low, it doesn't get through their damage threshold. And so they take the minimum amount of damage, which is 1. But what we're going to do here is we're going to level up to level 2, and then we're going to go recover our hit points. We probably don't even need to do that, but why not? Now there was a miss. You saw a miss. That's because of the evasion stat. The monsters have an accuracy stat. I have an evasion stat. Hey, thank you for the subscription. Hey, there's a level up. So now we get to see what we got. So, okay, so this was kind of a shitty level up for our fighter. As I understand it, the fighter always gets a strength level up. The only thing strength does is give you more damage with your attack. What I would love to see there was a stamina increase, because stamina increase is going to give us more hit points. I don't really care too much about the fighter's intellect, although eventually he will get spells. But point is, I think the only guaranteed skill up or stat up that we get with the fighter is the strength. Everyone else is a random roll, and in this case, we kind of didn't get luck out. Now, our monk got a strength improvement and a luck improvement, so go monk. Here is our white mage, Amblade, randomly got a strength improvement. Okay, cool. I would have, again, rather they got a stamina improvement. Our black mage got a strength improvement. Go black mage. Now, by the way, look at how bad his roll was. Now, his stamina is 2, so he doesn't really gain much hit points. There's also a little bit of a random roll. Look how many hit points he gained. He gained 1 hit point. That's a bad beat. By the way, another thing about this game that is absolutely harsh, when I gained that level, it increased my maximum hit points, but not my current hit points. So my warrior, Smith the warrior, now has a max of 60, but still didn't get the hit points from recovering from it. So we're gonna go and stay at the inn. We're gonna go get our hit points back. Also, originally on the NES cartridge, staying at an inn or using a item like a tent or a cabin is the only way that you could save your game. You couldn't just save your game whenever. I'm of the understanding that now you can. Yeah, so you can just do a quick save anytime you want. I'm probably not going to use that unless like we just randomly have to like quit for the night, because I don't know, it's not right to me. Look at that, crushing with the hammer. 22 damage. Now, I believe as we go to the north part of the Cornelia mainland, we enter into a new random encounter zone, and we might start to encounter mad ponies. Mad ponies are like crazed horse unicorn things, and they can be pretty nasty because they're capable of double hitting us, which means they can do a lot of damage. So we'll see what we get here. All right, we have a goblin guard. Funny story, you can see what it looks like. I'm colorblind. Apparently, I've been colorblind my whole life. In the NES version, these things were they weren't called goblins, they were called imps. And they were called GR Imp, okay? Because they didn't have enough characters to write gray imp. But as a kid, I thought they were purple, and so I thought they were called grape imps. And later in the game, as we get into it, you'll see that there are GR ogres, and yes, I thought they were grape ogres. And so I will still sometimes refer to these things as grape imps and grape ogres, but I believe they were supposed to be gray goblins or gray imps. So, but no match against our party. Also, once we get up into the ruins here, we will potentially have some undead encounters. And there we go. Now, we got a preemptive strike, which means we get to go first. Preemptive strike is decided by the lead character's luck stat. Now, the warrior, not particularly good at luck, but the thief, if we had one, gets a really high luck stat. So we talked about before about like an evasion tank build where you build around a thief in your first slot as having really high evasion. And that would be really cool because you would theoretically get a lot more of these preemptive strikes. So we're going to do some attacks here. Now we're going to cast a spell with our white mage. They are going to cast Dia, or the harm spell, which is an AoE dealing damage to all undead enemies. Now these guys aren't particularly tough, but you know, why not? Look at that. Boom, turn undead, baby. Now we're going to go grab some loot before we go and fight Garland. Ooh, zombies. These aren't too tough, but they usually could take 2 hits. Ooh, look at that. Reduced from 26 to 7 in a single blow. Oh, there we go. All right, so we got our level up. All right, Smith gained stamina this time and agility. Bob gained agility and stamina. Hombleite gained stamina. And our black mage gained nothing. And it gained 1 more hit point again. All right, our black mage is gonna be pretty weak here on the hit points. All right, I don't want them to just get randomly taken out by some spell, so I'll use a cure spell. I should have bought some potions, but so we got a leather cap. So we're gonna go ahead and give that to our warrior because again, they're in that first spot, and they're just gonna be most often the people who get targeted by our attacks. Now, this is a ghoul. The ghoul has obviously a chance to paralyze us. But luckily, Bob hit for 30, and Smith followed up with a solid 22, so he went down before anything nasty happened. Zombies again. Now, see what happens when a zombie hits our warrior? Nothing. 1 damage. Boom. Jackal wants to know, who do I think is the better first slot character, the thief or the red mage? Oh, definitely the thief. They're gonna have a much higher evasion. They're gonna have better hit points. They can actually wear pretty good armor. Hey, look, we got a potion and a tent. So a tent is going to allow us to recover hit points and spell slots while we're out in the field. So ambush is the opposite of a preemptive strike. That's going to allow them to attack first. Again, if you have a character with a high luck stat in your first slot, you will be ambushed less often. So ambush is kind of like the perception and stealth stat in this game. Ooh, here's some wolfies. We're just going to have to beat these things to death. Unfortunately, we don't get our first AoE spells until we get down to Elftown at level 3 magic for our black mage. That's when he'll get Fire 2 and Bolt 2, which allow us to put some hurt down. Ooh. By the way, you gotta love the irony. Like, you gotta love the randomness of this game. Look at our white mage has 89 hit points. Hey, big hit point up for our black mage. We needed that. Wow. They gained 2 hit points in their first 2 level ups. So now they're at 50. That was a massive increase. But look at this. Our white mage has 89 max hit points. That's more than our monk, and it's the same amount as our warrior. By the way, sometimes if you get some really weird rolls, you sometimes might have to swap where characters are just because of, you know, different hit points, statuses, and all this other stuff. It does happen. Oh, so this door has been locked with the mystic key. Alas, how will we ever recover this mystic key? We'll have to remember this place and come back. Oh, we have a werewolf, and we have a preemptive strike. So we're going to pile our damage onto this werewolf. I think the werewolf can poison us, but we took it out, so all's good. I saw Roll for Combat stopped in for a moment. He said I'm a geek. Yes, I am a geek. All right. Nice. All right, let us go. Now, there is something to be said, too, in this game about running. Sometimes at certain points in the game, it's better to conserve your resources. I don't know yet what this game is like in terms of availability, but in the original game, you could only, they didn't have high potions and X potions and elixirs. You only had potion, and it healed like 30 HP, and you could have 99 of them max, and that was it. So at certain points in the game, you had to really, really conserve your stuff. I need one just to top them off. All right. Oh, come on, that's cheap. And so there's times at the game where you do have to, you know, run away, because it's not smart to do so. Oh, look at that. Smith just dropped a 2-hit. So we're already getting high enough level that our accuracy is high enough that we're going to start 2-hitting occasionally, which is great. Boom. So we're going to really embarrass Garland here. So we're now level 5. Nice level up for Smith. Big hit points, agility, stamina. Love to see it. I'd like to see that strength getting up there, though. Another 1 hit point for our black mage. That is brutal. All right. He's over here monologuing. What? Who's there? I'm right here, bro. Ah, very famous line. I, Garland, will knock you all down. All right, so we're going to embarrass this guy pretty badly. All right. Both attacks went into our warrior. Gotta love that. They should do it. Yeah. You know, you don't. The first boss is, you know, it's a severe encounter. You don't go straight to the extreme. And here is the lovely Princess Sarah. Apparently has like pink hair in this version of the game. I am Sarah, Princess of Cornelia. This is the first time anyone's ever defeated Garland. No one has ever made it to level 5 before. Ooh, they teleport you back. Nice. All right. By the way, this is like my level of role playing that I want in a game. Thank you for returning my daughter to my side. There can be no doubt that you are the warriors of light from Lucan's prophecy. You should hear the prophecy in its entirety. If I may. When darkness veils the world, 4 warriors of light shall come. If they cannot gather the shards of light, the darkness will consume us all. The 4 crystals will never shine again. Now, I hear that a crystal can be found on the continent to our north. Restoring light to the crystals is our only hope of ridding the world of the monsters which plague it. And there you go. That's the whole plot of the game. I pray that you succeed in restoring light to the 4 crystals and to the world. And that's it. Uh-oh. Is she about to give us an item that has no purpose until the very end of the game? This loot has been entrusted to the Princess of Cornelia for many generations. Oh, interesting. I wonder why Garland wanted the loot. The dancing girl in town knows many odd bits of information. All right. Everyone's really happy. We saved the princess. Now, we can take a look around the castle here. Oh, I think this is... I can't control. Oh, look at that. It says it is said to have a unique power and it can shatter a gateway of evil. That's true, Jacob Online. Now, I am a princess of Cornelia because I have it. Well, that's it. I don't know how I could ever rescue you for rescuing Sarah. That's all you have to say? Now, interestingly, in this castle here... in this castle here, we have... oh, who's this? Oh, that's... Oh, we just got kissed. Wow. There is a little treasure chamber back here. But again, and again, I'm just showing this because reasons. Oh, never mind. It's going to do the intro of the game. Anyways, long story short, there's a treasure vault back there, but you need the mystic key. So that's two things that we need the mystic key for. Well, this is new. Maybe they did this in one of the Game Boy Advance. I love the idea that they could have repaired this bridge at any time. But you know what? I actually like to think that maybe they blew up the bridge like 100 years ago to try to separate them from the mainland so that they could prevent the spread of darkness and the monsters, right? Because this is like a haunted and cursed world. Like the crystals have been falling or failing for like hundreds of years, like centuries. So this is actually technically a very dystopian, very collapsed world. Roll credits. Great work, boys. All right. So we'll just pop in here. Get some sleep. Now you'll notice, too, with our level, that we are now... our white mage, our white mage actually has slots for level 2 spells and level 3 spells, right? Amblade and Hoyrat each have a level 3 spell slot. But we don't have any level 3 spells. Hell, we don't even have any level 2 spells. That's right. You don't just get them when you level up. Again, this is like old school D&D. In old school D&D, when you leveled up, you didn't get spells automatically. Now, the cleric did because they prayed for them, but like wizards didn't. You had, and these are both clearly mages, you had to go and buy them or find them or train them. And so the same thing is true in this game. So we are well ahead of the curve here in that respect. Yeah, okay. I think we can, eventually we'll be able to sell that stuff. All right. Well, let's save here. And now we will head north into the unknown world of the next continent. Now, even in the original NES, this is the only, like, cutscene in the game, which still looks like this. And so their quest began. With the 4 warriors of light, they felt overwhelmed by the great task destiny had placed before them. They did not even know the true significance of the 4 crystals they held in their hands. The crystals that once, long ago, held a light that shone so brilliantly. The time for their journey had come. The time to cast off the veil of darkness and bring the world once more into the light. So yeah, so right, from a D&D perspective, right? We're now level 3. We're now we're out of the basic game. We're into the expert game, and we're about to go do some overland journeying. It's not going to be quite so clear cut as it once was in terms of where we need to go and what we need to do. We're gonna have to, normally, we were pretty constrained on where we could go and how we could go. All right. Oh, look, I got an achievement. All right. Should still have no problems here. Woo. Very good. Now, where we're about to go, we technically don't need to go. But we'll go there anyways, just because that's what you would normally do. Now remember, this map that we see here is not really originally part of the game until you like kind of discovered it. We also see here a port, which indicates that obviously there must be some way to sail the ocean, but this is a sailing port, so that's good to know. So now we are definitely into some tougher foes here. So, but we're still getting goblin guards, and we got a preemptive strike, so this will be pretty simple. By the way, shout out to Roll for Combat. I missed that they subscribed with Prime. Thank you so much, and Blue Space Rocket as well. Thank you so much. So here we have this little cave. Oh, I wonder what dark and terrible secrets await for us inside of here. Matoya's Cave. Oh. A moving broom? Oh my god, it's magical. Frontwards, backwards, any way you see. Such a strange spell to swish, swish, ari. Edo Ladna Kaleskalika. Swish, swish, aru. So the brooms speak backwards, and in the original game, they said push B select backwards. So they said Teklekles B ushup. But then if you were on a overworld and you push B and select on your NES controller, it would bring up that map. But other than that, you didn't have a map. So pretty crazy. But yeah. So cancel and what is this even saying? Cancel and loan. Oh, that's just the. Uh-oh, we got someone in here. Oh, treasure chest. Ooh, there's a witch. My eye, my eye. Oh, she's bumping into stuff. She must be blind. Who could have stolen her eye from her? Who knows? All right, so she needs a crystal eye. We got to keep an eye out for a crystal eye. All right, well, sorry, lady. You can't see, so I'm going to rob you blind. So we should gain some potions and some antidotes. Again, potions are going to let us heal. Antidotes cure the poison status. Which could be a problem because we might be encountering some spiders soon. Or potentially another werewolf. Ah, there's the crazy horse. Also a strip club. Big hit from Smith. Big hit from Smith. All right, so we've made our way up that way. So now we have to head east. Got some different biome terrains. The way that random encounter tables. Oh, it is an ogre. This is a scary monster. The thing's gonna have a lot of hit points and could potentially hit us pretty hard if it chooses to hit one of our rear rows. But Smith just had a massive double hit critical hit. It is a grape ogre. Hey, look at that. Well done, team. Well, we did get a surprise round, so that helped a lot. Ooh. All right. We'll tempt our fates. I am going to bust out a fire spell, though. Ooh, he just got critically hit for 44. I think critical hit pierces through your damage. Or your damage absorb. Ooh, that was a weak hit from Smith. All right, solid hit from the fire. Yeah, I just love watching the fighter fight. Fighter gonna fight. All right, that's gonna be a nice little chunk of XP there. Yeah. Ooh, huge level up. Increased our strength and massive hit points for Smith. Huge level up for our white mage. So 3 blank dice. I don't know. In the original game, so 3 blank dice asks, are there Phoenix Downs? Or is it permanent death? In the original game, there was no Phoenix Down. The only item was Cure and Antidote. The Cure Potion healed for 35 hit points, and you could have 99 of them, and Antidote recovered the poison status. If a character died, you had to go back to a town and go to the clinic and pay gold or gil to have them brought back. It was the only way to have somebody bring back. So it wasn't permanent death, but you couldn't bring them back until you had very high level white magic spell. Of course, called Life, and there was Life, and I don't think there was Life 2, but there might have been. But, hey, look, a town. All right, so we got a new town here. Please help us. Oh, no. Is this town under attack? Okay, that's all they have to say. Those blasted pirates. They're running around looting and pillaging like they own the place. Oh, no. This town has a problem with pirates. So we were talking earlier, or we were just talking about it. So this building here is where you would go to restore a dead warrior to life. So this is the church, sometimes called. Oh, those look like pirates. You've got cannonballs of steel to be talking to the great pirate Beaky. Keel haul 'em, boys. And then we get into a fight with 9 pirates. But we should be able to make short work of these guys. That's right, just target my tank. Leave him alone. There we go. Didn't work. All right. Front row taken out. All right. And obviously, each one that we take out is... See, like, even there, like I just instinctively went to a different one. And you can tell that these pirates have a higher agility than us, most of my people, because that's why they're attacking first in the round. But taking these guys out pretty well. And that should be all she wrote. Look at that. 360 gold, too. Nice little chunk of change. All right, well, we took out the pirates. It's time to go for the leader. Hey, level 2 janitor.
Janitor tip $2. Not sure if you know the chat is currently subscribers only, but I can't talk in it. Wanted to drop by and say I'm enjoying the stream. Love FF1.
Thank you. I think I can change that, right? I have disabled subscribers only mode for this room. All right, now everybody can talk. All right, there you go. Apparently that was on by default, maybe? So, thanks, level 2 janitor. All right. Unleash the masses. Sorry about that, everybody. I didn't realize that that was an option and that it was on. But yeah, there's a little button here. So, it's possible I hit it by accident. Welcome, everybody. Hey, what's up, Jordy? I was literally thinking of doing a Final Fantasy 1 playthrough last week. I'm glad I didn't. Look at that. We beat the Pirate King and they take their ship. You know, it's... Again, I would be totally fine with that in a D&D campaign. Now we got a ship. All right, we now have a ship. That's right. So now we can go anywhere we want to go. I've had myself a change of heart. I plan to buckle down and be the hardest worker in town. All right, well, this is a new town, so we definitely want to scope out what we've got available in terms of like new armor, new weapons, because we got a pretty good chunk of change. We got 1,900 gil. Look at that. Woo! 640. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a pricey piece of armor. Note, only our fighter, our warrior, can use it. We can also pick him up some, people can pick up some leather gloves, kind of pricey. We also have a leather shield. The shield will also give us a chance to occasionally, like, parry a blow. I mean, Nilbog, they always say that the two greatest days in the boat owner's life are the day you buy the boat and the day you sell the boat. Let's see. Oh, hey, look, a sage. Oh, I fled from Melmont, a town far to the west. It is truly a pitiable sight. The earth rots and the monsters attack in the night. Well, I would love to go help you out. That's what we're here to do. All right, let's see what weapons we got available. Ooh, a broadsword, a battle axe, and a scimitar. Pretty pricey pieces of equipment. We're not going to have to, we're not going to be able to get all of our hopes and dreams. We also get access to level 2 magic here. So now we have an ice spell, Blizzard. Dark blinds all of our enemies, making their accuracy much lower. Temper is an extremely powerful single target buff spell. It's a really great spell. And Slow doesn't lower our enemies' accuracy, but it makes them less likely to be able to do multi-hits. So these are all pretty good spells. So this is a solid damaging spell. This is a fantastic buffing spell. And I know I'm going to be picking that one up. But again, you know, money is a problem. We don't have all the money in the world, so we do have to make certain choices. I want to make sure I get some level 2 magic because otherwise these spell slots aren't doing anything. And like most great games, right, the White Mage mostly just has stuff that heals other stuff. So blindness, if we get blinded, we can cure blindness. Not really, doesn't really come up that much. Silence, theoretically, is a very powerful spell because it prevents enemy spellcasters from casting spells. And it does target all of them, but I found that it tends to miss a bunch. So it's not that great, but it can be powerful. If you know you're going to be taking lightning damage, Null Shock is it's a buff to basically absorb elemental energy. And this targets a single enemy. So this is like Ruse, which is at level 1 spell, but it buffs the evasion of a single target. Now there's Invis and Invis 2, which you get later, much later on. Invis 2 targets the entire party, and it is baller. So I'm going to take Invis because that is a good spell. You can always come back for some of these other ones later. I also want to pick up Ice. Or Blizzard. Okay. Did I ever read 8-Bit Theater back in the day? I don't know. Do I own a pair of sword chucks or not? Yes, I used to read 8-Bit Theater all the time. All the time. All right, well, so this one is 15 attack and 10 accuracy, and this one's 16 attack and 5 accuracy. So it's 1 more attack, but this one's 5 more accuracy, so we'll get that one. I do like swords. In fact, that is why I didn't buy the axe. I bought the broadsword. All right, are we there yet? No, the nunchuck is still helping us out a little bit. Soon. All right, let's go get some armor. And then we'll call that good. I don't know if we can actually afford this. We can barely afford it. You know what? My fighter deserves it. All right, we got enough to buy a shield and a pair of gloves. See, now people wouldn't mind being the martial character if they got all of the equipment. All right, and just like that, we are broke. We have 16 gold, 16 gil, and but we are, you know, we're ready to go sailing. Now, we now have access to a ship. So let's take a save. And this gives us access, we can see here from our mini map, we now have access to the inner sea. Obviously, the inner sea, or the Sea of Dreams, is currently sealed up. It doesn't seem like there's any way out of it. So there we can kind of explore. There's going to be some tougher monsters on the water. So here we have some Sahagin. But this is also a good way to get some experience and some extra gold. Not as much. There's one... pirates are what we really want to fight. Pirates are worth a lot of gold. So if we can get an encounter versus pirates, that'll be really, really nice. By the way, look at how low our Black Mage's max HP is. Poor guy. Look at that critical hit from the Black Mage. Oh, miss. Nice. All right. We can fight sharks out here on the water. We can fight evil eyes. Oh, they're the big eyes. Sorry, not evil eyes. Evil eyes are very nasty. Well, the Sahagin, you know, they got like claws. You know, they look like, well, I mean, they look like Sahagin from, you know, from D&D with a legally distinct name. Ooh, oh. Nice. All right, well, our Black Mage is about to die, so that's cool. Yeah, I have actually heard that they are doing an official English translation of Sword World, and as somebody who is a fan of Record of Lodoss War, it's my understanding that Sword World is the primary responsibility for Record of Lodoss War. I am definitely going to be interested in checking that out. All right. Kind of a bad level for our warrior. Solid level. Come on, Black Mage. You're killing me, Smalls, with the hit points. Oh, my God. Well, the good news is that we can go... Oh, we were so close. Like, okay. Well, I got greedy. We were so close to the starting area, so we could go get a cheap leave him alone! Leave him alone! I just realized that. All right. Leave Brittany alone. All right, well, that's good. All right, there you go. Run away. Look at that. See, even this game had morale checks. Oh, Bob down. The invis came too late. We have our first death, ladies and gentlemen, from a random encounter. I like that they killed one of us and now they're fleeing. Fight! Fight, damn you! Oh no! Amblada's going down as well. All right, Black Mage taking him out. Ooh. We just lost the cleric. Black Mage is not looking good. Oh, okay. That could have been bad. All right, the fighter should... All right, there we go. Unfortunately, there's a massive amount of experience, and now you can see how far behind Bob and Amblede were. They're going to be like 200 XP behind. We did need that gold, though. All right. Well, time to go get these guys raised. Get out of the way. Rise, fallen warrior! Arise, fallen warrior! And by the way, you know, 40 gil in this economy? You know, so we were talking, we were talking the other day about D&D and death and the way it worked, and all these people were talking about these things, and I was talking about how, like, the way it used to be in D&D was like, it was a roguelike before there were roguelikes, because you would go in, you'd play. If you were really low level and you died, you just made a new character. And if you were high level, you were just like, ah, dang, that was a bad run. All right, we got to go get a raised dead, and, you know, we'll try again. Like, I mean, 2 of our people just died, and it's not like the, you know, kind of super trivial death that you get nowadays with the presence of Phoenix Downs. Like, you have to go back to town and go to this cleric. But, you know, it's fine, whatever. You get a raised dead, you move on. Now, we can see here that, unfortunately, this game does have all these bullshit items. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't know that I want to use them, because I think these items are kind of bullshit. You know, so Echo Grass cures silence, Gold Needle cures stone. This was originally an item in the game. It's called soft. I forgot about that. Actually, there was a soft potion. So Gold Needle existed in the original game, which is called soft. Antidote existed, cured poison. These are all real things. And potion existed, and it cured 50 hit points. All right, so that's even a little bit. But you did not have a high potion. You definitely did not have an ether. Okay. And you certainly did not have a Phoenix Down. You did not have a sleeping bag. You had a tent, a cottage, and it looks like because in the original game, you had a tent, a cottage, and a mansion. And it looks like in this game, they called it a sleeping bag, a tent, and a cottage. But they basically do the same thing as they used to. So a sleeping bag only recovers hit points, which is what a tent did. Tent, which was a cabin in the original game, partially recovered their hit points and MP. And only the mansion, which in this game is a cottage, refilled. So I am going to make a call to not use high potions, ethers, Phoenix Downs, eye drops, and Echo Grass. I can buy them, but I'm not going to buy them. So. So we have a couple of things here. Lots of D&D monsters in this game. Final Fantasy's own iconic monsters mostly came later, I think. Yeah, and in fact, very famously, in the original Japanese version on the Famicom, the Evil Eye, which you fight in the Ice Cave, was called a Beholder, and it actually looked like a beholder. And D&D's IP people, this is back in the 80s, came after them and said, you can't do that. So they had to change it. And so the Beholder became a Evil Eye, which is still very clearly looks like a beholder, but I mean, originally it really looked like a beholder. I'm talking about round floating thing with eye stalks. Yeah, Sahagin are very nasty, especially when you get a 9-hit like them with 2 chiefs. But they do get a lot of gold and stuff like that. And yeah, they're super evasive. They can last a long time, but eventually when you get your Bolt 2 and you can AoE them, it's really, really awesome, which you agree with. So that's right. No, well, you know, it's like a magic cottage, right? It's a magic cottage. So what level are we now? All right. We are probably... Oh, by the way, they come back at 1 hit point. So we're level 7. All right. Yeah, we should be able... I'm trying to remember what the formula was. It's like... I gotta look at his stats. It's like 3/4 of his stamina... It's easy when he's a master. When he's a master, it's just equal to his stamina. So I'm trying to do the math on what his accuracy will be. It'll be close, but the monk should start being able to be better now with being unarmed. Yeah, there were a lot of bugs in the NES version, and for me, aside from intelligence not doing anything and the thief being broken and basically being an unplayable class, the main bug that is really sad is the game has a lot of really cool weapons, swords mostly, that like the coral sword, which does bonus against sea creatures, the rune sword, which does bonus against spellcasters. And none of them worked. Like, none of them worked. So, there's a giant slaying sword. Didn't work. And so, there were all these really cool swords, and none of them worked. So that's actually one of the things that I really enjoyed when they did make the remakes. But unfortunately, like I said, they also included MP, which I didn't like. So yeah, well, Level 2 Janitor, that was originally my plan, which was to go find a mod that basically took the original game and fixed all the bugs and, did a couple of the balance patches that the game needed, made sure that, intellect and intelligence actually scaled damage on magic and healing the way it was supposed to, that it did all this. Gets rid of I don't know if this game still has the Pyramid of Power or the Evil Eye glitch, but, we'll see. All right, well, let's head south. Oh, here we have a shark and a Sahagin. So sharks can be pretty nasty, but we should be fine. I don't know why I accidentally targeted the wrong creature with that, but that's fine. Yeah, I just took off the nunchucks pawn back in town. It's like around like level 5 or 6 that he starts being able to do that. You have to get his stamina high enough. Nice. Sharks are worth like 66 XP or a bunch of XP, not 66. But. All right, Smith almost getting close to 200. Black Mage, look at that. Picked up frickin' 25 HP. That was nice. Are you anti-MP just for the sake of being as close to remake as possible, or is it a design problem? Well, obviously I want it to be as close as I can to the original, but also it's a much more strategic game that way. And it reinforces why I like Vancian magic in certain versions of D&D, which is that it's a resource problem. It's a attrition problem. And, when we're about to get to the first part of the game here that's really tough, which is the Marsh Cave. And when you don't have infinite items and you only have a couple of spell slots, it can be pretty nasty. To have to, deal with all that, deal with all the attrition. Come on. All right, there we go. At least we took out one. Nice spot. By the way, I want to point out that our white mage has a higher max HP than our monk. So there's that. Always love to see that. Ooh. So now we enter the first quote-unquote grind of the game. So this is Rivendell, a.k.a. Elftown. Now, Elfheim. Okay. Please help our prince. Man, everybody needs our help. So the problem with Elfheim is... What? I'm shook. Where's the silver sword? Did they get rid of the silver sword? Wow. Normally, there's a really, really powerful busted-ass weapon here that you can buy. But it's like 4,000 gil. And it was insane. And it looks like they removed it. So Fuck. Power Made Flesh. In the original, the Silver Sword, aka the Mithril Sword, was for sale in Elfland for 4K gold, and it was really powerful for this point in the game, and it sure was, but apparently they got rid of it. Well, dang. Well, that changes up my plan a little bit. Now, here's the other thing about Elftown. So, take a look at our spellcasters. You can see that they have level 3 magic. Hamblede and Hoiret each have 2 level 3 slots, and we don't even have level 4 slots. Not only are level 3 magic available in life, and by the way, these are 1,000 apiece, so we're gonna have to save up for these. But these are AoE. So this is AoE fire, this is AoE lightning, and this is AoE lower everybody's evasion of the monsters. Okay, and hold basically doesn't work, and however, let's see if they have, at least they have the silver armor. Wow. Interesting. Looks like they got rid of the silver stuff. I wonder why I mean, maybe they just said it was too powerful or something. I don't know. But this town also has level 4 magic item shops or magic spell shops. We don't even have these slots yet, and they're 2,500 apiece. By the way, we have 870 gil. We're also far too weak to go to what the next part of the game is. We are level 8, so I think we'd want to be at least level 10, probably, or 11, and we certainly want to get enough gold to be able to buy some of these really good magic spells. Now, normally, I stay at this point and I grind for a while to be able to get access to the silver sword, but it looks like they removed the silver sword. Apparently, he found a castle to the west, but it was abandoned and it gave him the creeps, so he got out of that. Now, level 2 janitor is a braver man than me. When I get to this spot, instead of grinding, I just go do the dungeon early and then dip out when things start to go around, which is fine. You just do that over and over. I mean, that's a braver way to do it. I like to fight ogres and creepers for a while until I'm at least, level 9 or 10. But this really changes up the game because, oh, I guess we do need to rest here. By the way, Elftown is so freaking expensive. 100 gil, my butt. Stupid elves. Because normally I have to grind here forever. Like if I have 2 fighters in my party, which I usually do, I have to get 2 mithril swords. That's 8,000 gil. That takes a long time. So this is normally a spot in the game where I kind of grind stuff out. But this is where I wanted to go to. I did say I wanted to get to Elfheim. So what we'll do here is we'll just hang out for a little bit. We'll do some grinding. We'll do some level up, and then we'll try to get to like level 9 or 10, and then we got to get Fyra like right away. And then once we get level 9 or 10, we'll call it a night, and we'll see how that goes. And of course, we can talk and we can shoot the shit a little bit. Oh, critical hit from Bob. Love to see it. These warg wolves are no joke. So this is more of a question. This is another poll. Ignore that. This is a poll for you guys. All right. So the poll's up. I gotta fix that so you guys can actually see what it says. So in your TTRPGs, especially classic ones, do you like random encounters? Would there ever be a point in a TTRPG where you would enjoy, for lack of a better word, grinding? you know, of just, you know, trying to gain levels for the next part of a hard part of the game. Is that appealing to anybody, you know? I got to admit, you know, it depends. It's so weird because nowadays the combats take so long. And that like really turns me off to that experience, you know? Ooh, Bob just took a big hit there. And if you do like random encounters, say in chat, you know, or if you don't like them, you know, let me know. Give me your thoughts on where you know, sort of like that. So Hides His Eyes says that is a totally different grind. No, I would never want to grind random encounters, but I do like them as part of a structure of an attrition-based experiences. And Jackal says, I love grinding in JRPGs, but I do not have time for it in TTRPGs. That's fair. That's fair. Man, look how awesome the warrior is. Just getting hit for one, getting hit for one, getting hit for one. All right, that was another big fight. Nice. We need more hit points out of our warrior than that. All right, get some magic healing. There we go. Just like that, our white mage is out of spells for healing. Do we have enough money to get... We have just enough money to get Fyra. So we're going to go get Fyra. So that way we have an AoE damage spell, which can help make fights go a lot faster. There's a point to be made about getting Thundara and going out back onto the ocean, because most of the water monsters are weak to lightning damage. By the way, I'll say it again, and I'll say it before. One of my favorite things about Fabula Ultima is, but I'm gonna stick with the Fyra for right now. One of my favorite things about Fabula Ultima is that they really lean into, like, I don't think they really lean into elemental energy types. And in Fabula Ultima, almost every monster has a vulnerability where there's an energy type that it takes double from, a resistance, one that it takes half from, or one that it's even immune to. And I think that adds such a dimension to the game. I think it's so boring in games where that is rare, or a game where it's included, like PF2, but it's like vulnerability 5. So it's like I hit it for 38 damage, and now it takes 43. It's like, yeah, that's extra damage, but you know, I love 5E's version of that, where it's double and half. I think that's actually really awesome. Whew. I should have split up their attacks. That's my mistake. Come on, land the damn Fyra. Yes! Fucking fireball! It's never not good. Damien tipped $3.
Unequipped the nunchucks, the multi-attack is way better at this level. I want to stop spamming chat with it.
Damien, what are you talking about, buddy? He hasn't had the nunchucks equipped in forever. He doesn't have the nunchucks equipped. Thank you for the tip, buddy. TTS. Yeah, because it comes through the same thing as the sound. I have to. Yeah, it's the text to speech is because it's all. I've lowered all my volume. It all comes through the same piping. It just comes through one output. That's why it's quiet. So, Damien was saying, don't unequip the nunchucks. And I said, I haven't had the nunchucks equipped since we were back in the pirate town. So High Society has a great point. It says, I think a lot of people dislike random encounters in D&D because they only play linear campaigns, and things that aren't directly related to the plot do feel frustrating. And that's fairly true. And, you know, GM Scott pointing out also that when you're doing 43 damage and that monster has 100 damage, oh, I forgot we're out of the healing spells, it can be very frustrating as well. Is this my platonic idea of an RPG? It's close. By the way, our white mage continues to have way more hit points. Way more hit points than our monk. About to swap these people. What is his evasion? Look at that. The evasion. Now, granted, the monk gets a better defense, so he's going to stay where he's at, but all right, we have one more. We have one more fireball, so. Perfect. Oh, that's not good. We got ambushed. This could be bad. They're gonna all get to attack first. Attack my fighter, damn it! There you go. We gotta try to stay alive. Come on! No! We needed him to cast Fireball! Oh, shit. That's not good. Really needed that. Stop! Leave Brittany alone! Ugh. We should mostly be okay now. That was pretty hairy. Jeez. You know, that's a classic D&D thing. Hey, put the cleric in the back row, and now they're invisible. And then, of course, immediately they just get attacked twice. How do these wolves not run away? Disgraceful. All right, we made it back. Time to head to the church. The DM is definitely soft fudging. 200. It just cost me money. Pirates. I don't think we can afford. I don't think we can afford the inn. Okay, maybe we can. We can just barely afford the inn. We are now down to 26 gil. But hey, we're level 9. Listen, it's the only way I know how to live. It's on the edge. Where are my ogres and creepers? I need to stop fighting these fucking wolves. And by the way, this is one of the reasons why in the early part of the game, you know, having things like red mages can be really nice. Red mages can equip swords and weapons, and they actually hit reasonably okay. It's because so often in the beginning of the game, when you're fighting, you know, random encounters, most of the time you're just having everybody attack, right? So your white mage and your black mage are just attacking. So if everybody's just going to be attacking anyways, you might as well just, you know, have them attack and be a class that actually is good at attacking. It's nice that we can finally kill these warg wolves in one hit. Well, I'm poor because I keep fighting wolves, and wolves have like no coins and no gold. There's really nothing to do over here yet. All right. This is going to be nice. All right, Ogre Chief. Take him down, boys. I'll just attack. Let loose. Oof. Thank God that went against... Oh. Oh, it missed. It missed the Black Mage. Yes. All right, Bob. Bob freaking taking him out. Love it. This was a victory, people. This was an epic fight that will be, songs will be sung. Very nice. Look at that. Look how much money we got off of that. 690 gil. We had 40. This is why we don't want to fight. See, the random animals have shit in loot. Well, that was a big, look at that. Over 200 hit points from Smith as he hits level 10. Big, that's big. All right, come on. Oh, there they are, the creepers. Now they're called the gig-ass worms, but to me, they're just creepers. I think these things, if I recall correctly, they are weak to fire. So this fire should nuke these gig-ass worms. Yeah. All right, that was another nice fight. There we go. Everyone else is now level 10. Bob, with a much-needed hit point increase. I would still like to see that stamina get up. By the way, monks want stamina and strength and agility. They use all three. They're like, even in this game, they're basically mad. Hamblade got no stat improvements. Hoyrit, look at the int on Hoyrit, and gained 1 whopping hit point. Ugh. Level 2 Genesis. Final Fantasy IV is the one where the protagonist is a Dark Knight who becomes a Paladin. Yes, Cecil. That game is responsible for both those class fantasies for me, was a big influence on me when I was a kid. You know, if this proves to be popular, we could always play through all of them. I have never played Final Fantasy III, actually. 3J. I have obviously played Final Fantasy 3 hours, 6, but I've never played 3. Yeah, I don't even know when they released it on a version that I was going to play. I'd love to see. Oh, I was going to say, are you aware that I hate Final Fantasy X? Oh, apparently you are. You'd love to see me hate play Final Fantasy X as it's my favorite. Ooh, look at that! Picked up 2 antidotes. All right. Well, we are level 10. It is 9 o'clock on a Sunday. I think I am going to go and buy some more. I'm going to go buy some level 3 white magic. It's a gravestone. It's a gravestone. Here lies Link. Bang. So let's get Hamblade a nice level 3 spell. We'll be able to afford 1. Now, this is actually a tough choice. Hey, thanks for the follow. So Cura is a single target larger heal. Now, in later Final Fantasy games, you had like Cura, Curaga, and you can choose between either targeting a single person or targeting your whole team. In Final Fantasy I, those are 2 separate spells. One is a single target heal, and the other is a party heal. Now, eventually, I'm going to get both of these, but for right now, I'm going to get Cura. And we are broke again. We're at 93 gil. We couldn't even afford we couldn't even afford the inn if we wanted to. So we're going to leave. And we're going to save. And there we go. Level 10. Hour and a half into the game. And we are well on our way into... We are well on our way to eventually going to the Marsh Cave. Now, our next stop is going to be down here on the southern tip of this continent. So kind of to the southwest of where our red arrow is right now. And that is going to be the very first big dungeon of the game. It's a very difficult dungeon with a lot of monsters that are scary, undead, spiders, snakes, a lot of things that can poison you, a lot of things that can paralyze you. And then there's even it isn't officially a boss fight, but it's just like a really tough fight. It is, I guess it's a boss fight where you fight basically a mind flayer and they can paralyze you. And if your entire party gets paralyzed, it's a TPK, you lose the game. So it's a really tough, and it's a long, again, the way we're going to be playing this game is I am not going to buy, did we pick up iron armor? I am not going to buy anything that wasn't originally available in the original game. So, even if this game has access to items that weren't in the original game, I'm not going to buy them. So, for example, I'm not going to buy Phoenix Downs. I'm not going to buy ethers. I'm not going to buy high potions, etc., etc., etc. So, just that's my stance on the whole thing. So yeah, we'll save here. And that is going to be it. All right. Cool. And we're back. By the way, you like my Final Fantasy 1 poster? Sick. I had to put that up. I've been meaning to get that thing framed for like 10 years, and it's still just in this like plastic sleeve. I don't remember where I bought that. But hey, thanks everybody. That was a lot of fun, and I'm glad that we got to hang out and we got to play some video games together. So this was a lot of fun, and yeah, I may put these onto some kind of separate channel for YouTube for VOD watching, but mostly it's just going to be here on Twitch. Again, we're going to keep the main channel focused on TTRPGs. So, but we're level 10. We're hopefully going to hit the Marsh Cave up next time, deal with Astos and the Dark Elf, get the TNT, probably try to clear that whole thing out. And then beyond there, we'll do a stream on the a stream on the Earth Crystal, a stream on the Fire Crystal, maybe a stream on the Ice Cave, Castle Ordeals, Water, Mirage Tower, Temple of Chaos. So yeah, hopefully we can get the whole game finished in 20 hours, give or take. We're not trying to speed run it or anything like that. We'll just have some fun with it and we'll go from there. So good times. Thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. Noldorian, resub. Really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll be back on, our usual schedule, Tuesdays and Thursdays, back on YouTube and Twitch, where we'll be talking about, all sorts of TTRPGs, which are really, really awesome. I got to say, guys, right now I know I just spent like $450 on Fabula Ultima, and Bob, after our press start, is really jonesing for Fabula Ultima. And it's possible that may be our Friday game that we play, our home Friday game. Because when we play our home Friday game, it has a remote player, a hybrid remote player, and I think the fact that there's no grid, not even a zone-based combat in Fabula Ultima really helps with the playability of having some people in person and one person remote. But I am just loving the One Ring right now. So, yeah. Pathfinder PhD, did I hear about the first 30 pages of the bestiary? No, I have not. You always do the ice cave before fire. Interesting. You can do that. The ice cave is tougher, and in the fire cave, you get the fire you get the fire equipment, which makes the ice cave easier. But in the ice cave, you get the ice equipment, which makes the fire cave easier. So, and technically, I mean, you do have a fiend to fight in Merilith or Kari or whatever her name is in the current version. So, I mean, that's what's cool about the game. It's linear. It's super linear. But, when I played as a kid, I remember after getting the canoe, you can actually go do castle ordeals and get the rat tail long before you get the floater and go to the airship. So I had gone to castle ordeals, did castle ordeals, got like the healing helmet and like Thor's gauntlets or whatever they're called, Thor's hammer. And I had that stuff before I even beat the Merilith. And then, and this is like when I was first playing the game as a kid. And so then when I showed up in the Dragon Isles and I talked to Bahamut, and he was like, "You must present before me a token of your courage." And then he was like, "Do-do-do." That was awesome, and I immediately got the level up. And there is a point to this, which is you get better stat improvements as your class change. So there is some logic to rushing the ice cave, getting the floater, getting the airship, doing castle ordeals, doing the class change, and then going and do the fire, because that way you get the most bang for your buck in terms of the class change. But whatever. They are releasing. Oh, okay. They're releasing the first 30 pages of the bestiary. That's sick. That's awesome. So that's sweet. They're doing a great job with that. Has it really moved much since I last looked in terms of the total? I mean, it's still sitting at $1.4 million US. So, I mean, I'm going to say that it's probably going to end up being about 1.5 million US, which is fantastic win for them. So hopefully they'll get a little bit of last minute, push. I always do put an extra T in Bahamut. I don't know why. Probably. Yeah, I don't know. I just always have. And Smith and I always have. Bahamut. But yeah, I always call it Bahamut. Not really sure why. Anyways, good stuff. All right, everybody. Well, I will see you guys during the week, of course. If you're a Patreon member, we'd love to, have you join us. Hey, Dr. Stevel, thank you for the 3-month resubby. Appreciate it. I think we hit our goal. Hey, look at that. We did. We got our 10 subscriber goal. Fantastic. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. That was really cool. That was kind of my metric. Like, hey, if we can get 10 subs, even if they're Prime subs, like, I'll keep doing this. I love playing this game. And I used to play it like every year, every 2 years. But I haven't actually played it in a couple of years, basically since I started playing this, doing this channel, because I've just been busy and it just didn't seem like it was the right time for it. So now that we have the Twitch channel, we'll figure this out. All right, everybody. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time on Knights of Last Call Game Night Edition. Ooh.